Der an die ältesten Aposteln geht müssen und alles wird mit Dank der an Jahwe Shem Kodesh. Schon man das Drittel der hebräischen Israeliten Sache 13 die sogenannten negativen amerikanischen Ureinwohner sowie die Blutlinien gemeinsam unterdrückt werden. Gemäß dem Buch Jeremia 50,33 ihnen aber allein gehören die Sohnschaft, die Herrlichkeit, die Bündnisse, die Gesetzgebung, der Dienst Gottes und die Verheißungen gemäß dem Buch der Römer Kapitel 9 Vers 4. Prediger 10,7 Ich habe Knechte auf Erden gesehen und Fürsten, die wie Knechte auf der Erde wandelten. Ja, life is easier if you know yourself. That's what I call this lesson. For example, I know myself, okay? I know if I see for example, if I see sunglasses, for example. I love sunglasses. I like to test different sunglasses, okay, how they affect my daily life. I like to wear them because a lot of people stare at me for really no reason. Okay, I don't look too much different. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, but I worked here and there. Okay, basically I don't know, but people really stare at me oftentimes. But I have big eyes. I have maybe HDHS. I don't know. The whole thing is not a lie. There are certain details in that, so to speak, sickness, which have to do with different brain structure, which doesn't mean that it's what Germany is pushing. Okay, the problem is always Germany, trust me. Okay, but okay, I moved 35 plus times. I know what Germany is. Okay, I saw it all in Germany basically. No stuff that I don't want to see. I already know that this stuff exists without seeing it. Trust me. Like, this is not the age of cave monkeys like it was and is already. Still, I mean, okay, they still want to push that, but like, there are certain brain manipulated people, I would say, or brain like, you can't say everything about ADHD S is a lie. Okay, that's the same if you would say everybody who can't walk, he really can walk. Okay, it makes the same sense. So the wording, I think, is really important, especially if you have people who can look up terms. Okay, so if you use wording, then hopefully you use it right. Okay, for example, I studied those topics really excessively and figured out that if you say all ADHS is everything with the term, then you're already coming in with your own interpretation, which doesn't have to do with science, because if you would come in neutral without any before opinion, so to speak, what you want to hear, just like with the name of Jesus and Yahweh Shai. Okay, you Google just what you want, for example. You know, why is it the name Jesus, right? And you bet you don't type in why could it be. Just leave it, right? It's okay. And guess what? Okay, came to the conclusion that there are people who have, I don't know how it is with my brain. Okay, science is not 100%. just like the ocean is not 100% figured out. That's at least what I would say. If you have a different opinion, then please use the comment board. Okay, if you think the oceans are 100% figured out. Okay. Okay. And what is the brain compared to the ocean? The Bible already gives you the information that the brain is comparable to the ocean. Okay, but you're still saying ADHS is completely made out of nothing. I see the stuff, okay, that people want to use that as an excuse to, especially Esau Edom, so-called white man, okay, he gets those appointments, he gets those privileges, he gets the money to get the appointment, to get a diagnostic by somebody who's not even a doctor, but he himself also has the money to make himself a doctor. Like, I just know Germany, okay, and I just think to myself, man, okay, it's best to really go into the topic myself, okay, because to really use those people against people that really have those anomalies, I would call it, is really hypocritical, because there is something, okay, that works different with people having those anomalies in the brain. You don't need to call it ADHS, and and I wouldn't call it like that, okay. But those are those hypocritical people, okay. They come out and say that they have they have the same sickness as those people who really have these difficult brain situations, okay, which has to do with information transport in the brain. If you don't know what information transport is in your nerve system, then go out of here, okay. I don't know what to say, man. Okay, these are basic foundations of anatomy, man. Okay, and biological sense, but okay. Yeah, your brain shoots information in itself from one point to another. Okay, and you have people that have it a little bit different when it comes to that, but okay. So you of course have to know yourself, okay? You have people using social media to push, okay, that they're basically lazy, okay? They are lazy, so what they do is they give somebody money to tell them they have ADHS, right? Then you have other people using that to say, oh, right? So it's now a trend, right? And guess what? It is a trend. Okay, but I don't have to deal with people, okay, using real sicknesses as a trend. Okay. It can only be a Western philosophy, something like that. Okay, making something stupid out of something real existent. And that is how Satan and his minions really work. Okay? They use something real, twist it to something completely absurd, and then they call it normal, and then they make a trend out of it. So you can use the normal society against you, really. Right, in the so-called normal society. And if you don't believe me, then why is it then that you can have drag queens in the kindergarten telling your children that they need to have I used the example a lot, but it happens, and can it uh, can be a realistic situation. Okay, but on the other hand, you have people really having a different brain function, but it don't exist. If I know one thing, that there is no diversity, there's either, okay, you have, I believe it's Seepferdchen, right? Seahorses? I don't know if you call it like that in English, but they can choose their gender, right? So if it happens to a human being, then it's not because that human being chooses to be that, okay? So there are of course certain flaws in the biosystem also when it comes to humans, but to a certain percentage it's just man and woman, and not just that, but also, okay, a human being can choose, like animals can do it sometimes. Okay, and to start with, how how is it? It's because people don't keep the commandments. The Bible gives you the information that you have people, invalid what is it called? I always forget the term. Um, disabled people, because of people keeping not the commandments. Roughly paraphrasing, okay, it says that is why people are disabled among you, or you have disabled people among you, because you don't keep the commandments. This was told to Israel. Okay, I know it sounds really, what I say is really, somewhat. Uh, I know how it sounds, everything what I said, but you know, I rather don't lie to myself. Uh, yeah, I don't even lie to myself. It doesn't benefit me. So why would I lie to you? Yeah, it sounds maybe a little bit how it sounds. Okay, but yeah. You have to be a scientist to understand it. Yeah. So basically, sometimes people know what others, okay, require of them, okay, but not what they themselves require of themselves, okay. So if I know myself, I can of course do better decisions. But of course, it has a limit, because to know only yourself doesn't really automatically create a good relationship with God, because yeah, okay, it's not just you, it's a whole nation, so to speak, right? So to be mindful of the nation, not just yourself, is maybe the balance to that. Yeah. So what has influence on me? What makes me angry? What makes me how I am, for example? Yeah. So even Paul said, look, yeah. Sometimes check yourself better said, whether you be in the faith. Mm, And Proverbs 4:23, keep thy heart with all diligence, which heart goes into mind. Which basically your life depends on basically also your mind, basically. Okay. That's why I can't have discussions with people who talk about bodily struggles, okay, too much, when you have a lot of people who have struggle, even pain in their head, okay, which you can't even see. Okay, I just saw stuff like that back in Munich. Okay, a picture on the wall in the subway, right? A woman who, I think she in that picture she mentioned that she has a certain sickness in her head which makes her feel heat in the head area, as if her head is burning all the time, right? But on the outer scale you don't see it. Okay, so I would be careful going into discussions with people who don't even know fundamental science. Okay, for sure.